That was the game where neither of the players managed to find the starting base of the opponent. This time around, they are going to be pretty much on the opposing side of the map. Saymyname to the south with the color blue using the Shang, and to the north it is DauT with the Lac in red.
Indeed, and I'm just having some technical difficulties. Hold on.
It's all good, it's just Stone Age, so you all know what's gonna happen. DauT just opening with the villagers being sent to the berries, something that you expect from the Lac, having that strong berry bonus to start off with. On the other side, what do you expect from Saymyname over here? We have seen that Shang with the villager discount, they're capable of pulling off very effective Stone Ages, so oftentimes they become the aggressors, but that might be difficult to pull off against the Lac, because if there's a civilization that can match the Tool Age timing of the Lac, it is probably the Shang, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Shang are going to be one of your fast civs, your hit civs, your strike civs, also very comfortable in a boom. And this map doesn't really seem like it's going to lend itself to very heavy boom situations. We saw yesterday a lot of the times where players could boom was when they were able to have kind of those closed-in forests, just giving them a nice little ring of protection, and then you could easily wall. This map, not wallable at all. There's a lot of important resources down in the center where you have to kind of like really leave your main base. So yeah, not really expecting much out of the boom time. But yeah, like you're saying, these rush civs, both of these I think are extremely fast. With the berry bonus and the cheaper vills, both being food discounts, super powerful in this early age. Well, anyways, yeah, we have more to see for sure. Like, I'm interested to see how Lac is played by DauT, because DauT I think has quite a lot of opportunity. Because we saw how TaToH handled. Are you lagging out? Am I lagging out? Did something just happen?
No, I think we're all fine.
Okay. Did something happen on your end? I was confused there for a second.
No. I was just
Okay, we're
letting
good.
you elaborate on this matchup,
Oh,
especially
okay.
because when DauT played Shang yesterday on this map, well, when DauT played this map, he played the Shang. So this is the first time he's going to use the Lac in general in this entire tournament, but in particular on this map as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw TaToH. I think that's what's interesting is TaToH played Lac as his training partner, right? You'd expect maybe they had some shared strat here. Maybe they both valued the bowman on this map, right? Obviously, the ranged unit's going to be able to make great use of the hills here, and Lac with that extra like production speed and also the armor. So I like DauT's pickup here. I think it's actually quite interesting. I'm curious to see why he maybe didn't pick a different civ. Like maybe there's something really specific. We saw on some other maps, I forget the exact name of it. I think it was called Gold Mountain. Right, Gold Mountain had lots of berries kind of around the edge, and I think maybe Saymyname is saving Lac for that map. So it's interesting to see DauT pick it up here as we see the players moving towards their storage pits.
Yeah, it's interesting indeed what you say about Gold Mountain, because that's definitely the direction you can take with all those berries around. But then again, we have seen a completely different approach yesterday taken by, I think it was VerteX, if I'm not mistaken, trying to play into the Macedonians, having that larger line of sight for the villagers and trying to sneak that forward base. That's also an option there, of course.
Yeah, it was definitely Kyo who tried a bunch of these like kind of different civs. We saw a very like defined meta in the first three in terms of the civ picks, and then in Kyo's set he picked Greeks and Mace. It was a very interesting approach from him. But yeah, now we see 3 vills moving forward for Saymyname, so something bold is going on here. He's got some sort of plan, maybe grabbing like a pit in the center for Swordfish. Maybe he just really wants his rush to work.
Yeah.
This is interesting. That's a big commitment.
It is. It's a huge commitment, actually, but it also ensures that whatever is planning, when it comes to a forward, it's likely going up. It's going to be very challenging to stop. In the end, he's going to settle with a barracks just in the middle, kind of at the same location as DauT is, just on the opposing hills. But neither of these players have like that very close forward to the opponent's base. This is more like just kind of that map control position for the time being.
Yeah, I quite like that, Lidakor. I like taking the center rather than trying to build your barracks at your TC. This is basically saying the middle of the map is important. This is where the wood is. If I don't have a military presence in the center, I'm going to get pushed out of the center. So I think both players are just trying to make sure that when they need to move vills here, they're not moving away from their military production buildings.
And look at what Saymyname is doing. It's one thing he finished the barracks, but he's also playing into scouts straight away. Not something that we've seen very frequently, and that's actually a cool idea over here. He saw the villager of DauT moving up. He knows that there is going to be a forward barracks. So DauT has nothing at home to defend himself with, and you can see that Saymyname already has walled in the villagers on the wood line.
Yeah, Saymyname has a really nice strategy here. This very fast wall in. This is prepared. This is definitely a very solid opening for him. I really quite like this actually. Um, a little nervous about his economy at home being a bit exposed, maybe. As you can see, that clubber forcing some idle time here.
You're just knocking on the doors of that town center casually, but no critical eco has been hurt just yet. Scouts now arriving to the base of DauT over here, and this is going to come as a nasty surprise. I don't think they have armor just yet, so the villagers may be able to fight back, but it won't take very long. And look at that. That scout will spot the archers straight away. So it's not only the fact that Saymyname now has presence in the enemy base, it's also the fact that he has vision on the tech switch that DauT is making.
And this is really smart as well, right? If you think Lakhviet's going to make use of these bowmen, Shang going scouts makes a lot of sense. Using that new tool age balance that Return of Rome is presenting means that it's not as straightforward what unit you should be going for. You know, in ROR Classic, you know, in Rise of Rome, in DE for AoE1, it was very obvious what unit you were going to go every game. But now with this new counter system, it seems that the scout opening has been really good. 2 scouts killing every bowman so far. From DauT, he's kind of on the back foot in his own base now, pulling the vills to fight. This is going to be tough to hold as 2 scouts come in from the left as well. DauT a bit in shambles here, vills dropping like flies.
Indeed they do. Archers as well. It is 10 kills to just a single death on the side of Saymyname. And DauT's counterattack, it wasn't able to do much. Quick walls attempted by DauT, but they won't be finished in time. It is going to be an opening still, scout blocking the way, and then just a slaughter on the wood line. And on the other side, the Axeman just failing to find value there for DauT.
Now still making bowmen into the scouts here feels so tricky, right? When all of your axemen are forward. Oh, and he's just walled himself in. That's too many scouts, though. This is certain death now for DauT. Oh my gosh, every bill goes down, and GG gets called so fast. Lidakor, what did we just witness?
Well, just a lightning-fast scouts play, and talk about those quote-unquote hidden strategies available for the players. Not one time did we see a straight stable opening yesterday. This is what Saymyname has prepared for this, and it worked wonders. He saw the forward will from DauT. He knew fully well that there is going to be a forward barracks, so he can win with mobility, and that is exactly what he did. Just struck straight at the base of DauT, and DauT had nothing at home to defend against that.
I just think it's going to be on the back of like some level of boom, right? Because I think you want to put that pressure on. I think you want to be the one with the stone thrower, because it just means your opponent has to react more. And if you break a hole open, like you have the opportunity to deal damage. You don't want to be the one responding to that. But at the same time, the first player to Iron Age is going to be in such a good spot, Lidakor. They're going to have they're going to have catapults, which are going to be really strong here. I think Stone Thrower is going to be moderately useful in combat, but the catapult is going to be very useful at dealing with masses of Horse Archer and also the Chariot Archer, if there's a group of them still from the Bronze Age, right? And of course, if you can get to Heavy Cat first, things are going to be really good. Heavy Cat, Heavy Horse Archer, and Tower I would assume is going to be the main composition late game, but I don't know. Maybe they'll do something crazy. maybe we'll see some nuts units, Elephant Archers potentially, but I think those will just get wrecked by the catapults of the opponent.
Yeah, very likely they will. I guess the thing I'm curious about right now is if there's any chance for Bronze Age aggression, what I would anticipate is kind of that Stone Thrower usage to open the walls and then just trying to get a couple of chariots into the enemy base, just trying to wreak havoc, cut into that eco lead, or just straight up annihilate the opponent's eco and then just finish them off at a later stage of the game.
Yeah, no, exactly. I definitely think it's going to be looking for the Iron Age. So we've got a bit of time to, sit back and relax. Maybe assess their gazelle pushing, how strong they are at that. It was funny watching DauT and TaToH play of it. They were really complaining about the gazelle, right, and how it's like really hard and a foreign concept, and yet we still seen them both be quite effective at it. So very quickly picking up the tactics needed. I think yesterday I was very impressed by DauT's play, where it looked like almost every game his town center was almost perfectly laid out with the gazelle very neatly spread around, and I think that's good. But we'll see. Elephant's coming in early for DauT.
Indeed, he's yet to touch any of those gazelles, whereas on the other side, Saymyname is going to open with those. Both players very heavily committed to the berries, so I guess given that we have a bit of a peaceful time here in Stone Age, let's talk about that a little here. So, what's your ideal distribution of villagers between like berries, elephants, gazelles? What's the mindset that the players are taking when it comes to just deciding what food source to use first?
So you put 5 on the berries or 6? I think 6 on Return of Rome is better because in AoE 1 Classic you can kind of squeeze your berryvilles in between the berries and get them all to have like a no walk drop off, right? They would just like instantly turn around and whip, but you can see there's a little bit of walk time, so I don't think 5 on berries works except for Shang and Lakviet. The thing that I would say is with 6 on berries, the goal is to just get consistent food income, and then once you start getting the hunt in, it's really about just like trying to deal with the fact that decay is still a thing, right? Like there's a lot of people watching this game and assuming, oh, decay must not exist, but no, this is just how you have to play AoE 1 because there's no home tile for these units, right? The gazelle and the elephants, so if they get displaced, they're not coming back, so it's actually worth it to invest your time in pushing them all at once so that they don't keep scattering, because then it's even longer before you get them. So it's better to have the food on the ground where you can gather it quickly and it decays a bit than it is to have it like all spread out, but you're getting one at a time, because then you're just going to be idling a villager. Because very importantly, like you've noticed, Lidakor, there's no scout, so you're really sacrificing economy to push in the gazelle to get more economy. So it's a very important mechanic to like kind of min-max a bit as a player. And you can see that players definitely do this. And then once you have enough food income, it's just a matter of like kind of minimizing how many you need on wood. So it's like I only need 4 or 3 on wood in the very early game to get like the stockpile of food going, so you can click up, etc. So there's kind of a lot of considerations here. It's also very feel based because you're doing straggler trees. Your gazelle can be like very different distances, so you kind of have to react to your current resources and like, oh, I'm going to need more on wood, or I'm going to need less on wood based on like just how the timings have been for you. So it's not quite as like strict of a build order as I would say as in AoE 2, for example, where build orders are quite timed and very precise. But it's still like there's still a lot of expression in like doing it as best as possible, I would say. There's a lot of explanation about the Stone Age build orders, but
well, good thing we have time, right?
Yeah, right. We got loads of time here. Not actually. It's funny because in AoE 2, right, the builds are like this would be like we're actually in it for the long haul, but for AoE 1, this scales up fast, as I think we've seen in the past games. It goes fast once it gets going, right?
For sure. Once you get to Bronze Age, having those very cheap town centers compared to AoE 2 or even AoE 4, it's very easy to boom up to 120 villagers and just flood it.
Yep, and so we have the fast bronzes coming in for both players. Pretty standard stuff. Looks like DauT has a slightly more efficient build order than he did the other days. This looks really clean from both, though. No real surprises here. We have Saymyname going with 25 plus 2, and DauT going with 24 plus 2. So pretty similar build orders. Not a huge difference. Actually, Saymyname might be going plus 1, actually. Nice. So we're going to have similar timings, I think.
Yeah, looks like it. Indeed, just a couple of seconds difference between the two players clicking up to Bronze Age. So, what next, I guess? Because let's take a look at how this map would play out in AoE 2, where this map originates from. You would just try to get some map control in the middle, try to secure some relics, and try to build a slow advantage when it comes to the eco. What's different here in the AoE 1 meta? You don't have relics in the middle. So is it all about just dropping as many town centers as you can and just booming up as rapidly as possible?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it, right? There's a couple of key differences. One is when a boom is kind of unquestioned in AoE 1, it's a lot more dangerous because it kind of rapidly accelerates at a rate which doesn't really compare. Like, AoE 2 just doesn't compare to the boom speed, right? Like, you could just start adding TCs and TCs and TCs, and then very quickly you're at, like, 200 pop vills before you even, like, in the blink of an eye, right? And now we see the bowman coming across. But yeah, like you said, no real items for map control. I mean, there are neutral golds, and we did see that the value of having the forward siege workshop is like immense, right? You want to be the one in the middle of the map pressuring your opponent's base because you can then threaten the economies behind, right? It's very hard to defend. So this wall is like, it feels like a very false sense of security to me. As you get the Bronze Ages coming in, Lidakor.
Oh, look at that. The bowman actually can range the villagers here on the berries. That's a bit of an annoyance for DauT. Nothing out of the ordinary though so far. Quick wheel coming in from both sides, as you would expect. Now, it's just going to be a race for those additional town centers. Government center coming in likely for both players. Indeed, they do. And DauT looks like he's going to expand to the northern side, kind of placing those DCs at the back.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. When you're going to boom really, really hard, you actually don't want to focus on gold and stone with your starting TCs. You want to focus on wood and space for farms so that you can actually scale your economy really, really quickly. So you'll see both these players prioritizing wood TCs for easy access to the resource so that they can just add more TCs and more farms. And I think the biggest thing we're going to be looking for is who's making this first move. As DauT just coming out to the middle here, so nothing too extreme, but potentially a target for these early chariot archers from both players.
Yeah, we could see some small scuffles in this middle area as DauT is expanding towards those neutral resources. That's just one random artifact roaming through the map. DauT is the first one to move a chariot to the north, and it looks like he's going to spot Saymyname in the middle, coming in with the chariots as well. Kind of a poking and probing style gameplay so far for both, neither of them committing very heavily to it. It's more about just that expansion of the eco, plus of course, having some presence in the middle so you couldn't get surprised by anything.
Yeah, especially, yeah, like you said, you don't want to be surprised, and also just stops a villager from building 3 siege workshops in front of you, like, because that would just be really annoying going into Iron Age, right? So they're both focusing on the boom here. Bit of micro coming in, so there could be like a pretty big winner out of this little skirmish here. Saymyname has more chariots on the field by 1. He has 3 compared to the 2 of DauT, and that could be a very big difference maker here. Saymyname is also up 6 villagers in the boom, so definitely ahead, decidedly so. We'll see how much that actually matters, but this could be a faster Iron Age if his boom is a bit more precise with the timings, like if he's a little like quicker with the farms, faster to the gold, like builds a second building a little earlier, because DauT might not be the most comfortable in this position, right? Like we saw, Lidakor, a lot of his practice was these rush games, right? Not sure how practiced he is at AoE 1 boom situations, whereas Saymyname has played this position, not this map, but, you know, in a team game, you need to be able to execute this build order that Saymaname's doing right now, so he's going to just have a lot more practice under his belt.
Well, good thing, at least for DauT, is that if there is one player who loves the boom, even in AoE 2, that's going to be DauT. So he's probably going to be pretty fast when it comes to catching up on this very heavy boom meta. One thing that he couldn't catch up on just yet, though, is the chariot numbers. Once again, having to idle these villagers on the front because of the presence from Saymyname.
This TC's interesting for that reason. Like, grabbing the berries at this stage of the game, probably not the most valuable thing to do. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's not a problem. It's just, like, you're gonna need a huge farm counter later, right? So usually players like to invest that, but it's nice for now. And he also gets the gold later, and it's just, like, a little bit of map control, right? Making sure he doesn't get, like, super easily pushed. It's not letting the opponent just, like, hit on his walls, for example.
Big difference between the two players is that Artisanship is just now coming in for DauT. It's a tech that has been researched for quite a while for Saymyname, which not only means that his lumberjacks were more efficient, it also means that his chariots had much larger range.
Yeah, exactly. That one additional range is really important, but honestly, that wood income in a boom game is so important because it's just going to mean more farms and better boom and more TCs, right? So he'll start scaling even faster, although decent micro from both players, but DauT seems to have gotten a fair trade for being a little behind there. Wow, interesting. So how many TCs could we pan over the bases real quick just to see like the development? Nobility already too from Saymyname.
Saymaneme's escalation is a little bit more rapid over here. You can see that he's bumping out chariots from 4 ranges now. Only 3 ranges operational right now for DauT. And the chariot numbers are growing in the middle. We have a bit of a scuffle as well. Now it's the same text, so it's going to be all about the micro right now. Saymyname forced back for the time being, but at the very least, he manages to idle some of DauT's villagers. Also managed to pick off a couple, I believe, because now we have a 10 villagers lead in the favor of Saymyname.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. This idle time has been adding up. This TC maybe not able to work the full time. Maybe DauT hasn't been able to fully keep up with the production. But something hasn't worked for DauT here. He's down 10 vills and 4 units. The KD starting to favor Saymyname, although a lot of this could end up being quite negligible, right? We're gonna once we start getting into the Iron Age, that's when we hit power units, and it's really important that like this hasn't really, you know, amounted to anything yet, but we'll see how explosive this first fight ends up being, as Saymaneme's just pretty content to just patrol the middle of the map, and we could start to see some forward vills pretty soon, I would assume.
Quite possibly. Scuffle in the middle. Now it's the first time with Saymyname is the one getting forced back. Kind of even chariot numbers, 26 to 21. Juking and diving is DauT, getting some nice picks. And reinforcements are coming in much more rapidly. You can see the top right. Now we have 7 ranges operational for DauT. Still only 4 producing for Saymyname. At this rate, he's going to catch up on the chariot numbers very fast.
Yeah, he's just about caught up, so it looks like it's going to be tight, but 13 villager lead, and an important note has been Saymyname has had nobility this entire time. We've seen these trades, so he just has a little bit more HP, which means that his chariots are just a lot stronger in these engagements, and there it is, the faster Iron Age for Saymyname. It's in, and DauT doesn't even have food yet to click up. He's not even close. So he's going to be potentially a little surprised here. Saymyname with the better army, the better macro, and the faster age up. Potentially a bit surprising for DauT here.
Saymyname committing to this fight over here. Numbers are once again even. Nobility is in for both. Saymyname will retreat though, but at the very least, he's going to keep DauT occupied, possibly forcing him to commit more and more to those chariots. And while he's doing so, he won't have the resources that he needs to get to Iron Age.
Yeah, and we're seeing the stone thrower mass starting to build those workshops in the center here. If that gets upgraded, the catapult's going to be so good at taking down the chariot archers. Chariot archers, though, diving in. DauT has the numbers now, has 10 more chariots. These stone throwers are going to be caught out in the middle, and stone throwers not going to be the best here for Saymyname. Saymyname maybe bit off a little more than he could chew with that engagement. DauT, the heavy investment in Bronze Age, but a big shot could come in. Oh, not the biggest. Exactly. The stone thrower is not the strongest unit. That was, that looked big, and then it just wasn't, right? The stone thrower's projectile, it's like, it's good for hitting a couple slingers, maybe 1 or 2 compies at a time, but yeah, masses of units like this, it's not the biggest wave clear, you know?
Yeah, you need that catapult upgrade, something that could be a reality very soon for Saymyname with Iron Age coming in. And this is a go sign for DauT. He knows that he's now being out-teched, so he needs to commit to this. He's got 55 chariots as compared to just 35 from Saymyname here. He's going to take this fight. Tries to take this before ballistics would finish here for Saymyname, and he will do so. Saymyname has to retreat, and now he's got to be cautious. He can't just open the gate for those chariots to flood in, and DauT knows that. DauT trying to isolate the chariots to the north. Will pick off most of these forces before ballistics would finish. It's pretty good value out there. Saymyname still trying to buy some time. Craftsmanship also on the way for that extra range. It looks like the sides will take the engagement. A couple of villagers could get caught in the crossfire as well. But now
he's dancing.
Yep. With ballistics in now, it is a dominant fight now in the favor of Saymyname, and DauT, he's just gonna have to pull back here.
Yeah, and the horse archers coming to support as well. That was a really good Vill pull. Vill's with the wheelbarrow, or sorry, with the wheel, right? They're able to kind of run in front. So that was actually a tactical move by Saymyname to get DauT to force him to focus fire. And that he lost a lot of DPS in that exchange for that. And now with craftsmanship, with ballistics, very little DauT can do in terms of micro, but he still has this huge mass. So it's gonna be interesting. We'll see if Saymaneme's able to hold this. Alchemy almost on the way, so 1 more damage gonna be in for Saymyname very soon. And these horse archers do honestly shred the Chariot Archers. So as this number grows and DauT's numbers dwindle, things are going to start favoring Saymyname more and more.
Yeah, DauT needs to find a way up to Iron Age. He's doing a decent job picking off some villagers here on the gold, but as you said, now the Horse Archers with Alchemy, with Ballistics, they will just pick apart all those chariots. DauT's forces on the north will get cleaned up. And the thing is that he's not getting anything out of this now. He's just trading units to a lot less from the opposing side. The KD is essentially even right now. You will see that start to swing in the favor of Saymyname the next few moments. Still sends in the chariots, and he's got a lot of them queued up. You have the impression that if he cancels some of them, he could at least start his progress towards Iron Age, and he kind of needs to, because this army isn't going to beat what Saymyname has right now.
Yeah, it's really tricky. Once you have ballistics, it's such a big advantage. Your opponent can't really dance in the same way as they could before. You can't really juke the arrows and to lose DPS unless you're really, really fast and you're really, really aware. Obviously, ballistics is dodgeable, but there's just so much more attention and so much more APM requirement. And you can see that DauT, his macros kind of fallen apart a little bit. I'm not sure how many villagers he's even training right now, if any. He seems to have kind of capped out at this 128 and feels maybe comfortable with it. Maybe there's vills in queue there that we just don't see in the UI, but oh boy, this is looking rough for him.
Yeah, most of the Chariot Archers in the army of Saymyname are now replaced by Horse Archers. DauT is taking decent fights over here. He's got the numbers advantage and he's committing. This could be interesting, Winston, because one thing that those Horse Archers cost is going to be gold. If DauT can work his way towards grinding down the gold stockpiles from Saymyname, this might still work, but we're looking at a long shot at best.
Yeah, what's tricky about that is Saymyname has the middle of the map. He's also adding these towers. Remember, on Return of Rome, they have a little more damage than you're used to from AoE 1, as they were buffed slightly just in the damage. And we'll see. Also, Saymyname does have access to all the gold in the middle. And once Catapult comes in, it's going to be very, very tricky for DauT to keep taking these engagements, as now the Horse Archer mass is really starting to look dominant.
DauT still with the Chariot Archers. He needs much larger numbers to be able to take these fights, but that's not what he has right now. 38 to 38 is the army ratio, and as you said, the slow creep to the towers begins for Saymyname. It's gonna get more and more difficult for DauT to get any kind of map control here, and he simply cannot take good engagements anymore.
Yeah, he's been honestly doing okay, though, once again, up to kind of 40 to 40, which, if your opponent doesn't play perfectly, it means that, like, overkill from these Horse Archers means that they're losing a lot of the DPS, potentially, but you can see Saymyname comfortable to just patrol into this engagement. And DauT has plenty of resources to click up.
If he wants to go up, this is the time to do so, because I feel like if he isn't in an Iron Age in the next few minutes, it's game over for him. It might already be a little too late. He's gonna click Iron just now, but now Catapult is in. They're firing from such a long distance, and as you said, once you have Catapult, that blast damage is going to be a game changer against these large clusters of units. DauT, he might even have an overchop there, so he's gonna have to be extra cautious. Just getting confined into his base now, still only 30% into his progress to Iron Age.
Yeah, and he lost access to his gold mine, so if these trades had been gold efficient for him, I think we're going to see an army of Saymyname's villagers coming forward pretty soon just to soak up this gold super quickly. And yeah, with the Rangers being camped, it seems really tricky to see a way out for DauT, right? Like, he's going Iron, but it's going to take him so long to get the necessary techs, right?
For sure. As you said, no ballistics yet, no alchemy, no craftsmanship. He doesn't have Catapult. Now he doesn't even have numbers. It's 63 army against just 8. Range is being camped as well. And once these walls are broken through, Saymyname has enough to just dive and snipe down 50 villagers in a blink of an eye. That's probably what he's going to do as he is smashing down those gates. DauT, he's going to reach Iron Age and pretty much just die straight after.
Yeah, this is looking tricky. Looking very, very tricky for DauT. I mean, this could be an Iron into GG situation. Oh, look at that gate crumble animation. Wasn't that beautiful? Oh man, that was kind of fun to watch. And here's the dive. And if DauT ever stacks up to take this fight, these stone throwers, now catapults, They have the techs, they land huge, juicy shots, just whittling down these Chariot Archer numbers, and DauT keys up a lot of Horse Archers, but it feels too little too late.
Yeah, it's just too late. He has 0 army on the field right now, and the Horse Archers will continue flooding in. Heavy Horse Archer on the way as well for Saymyname. DauT simply won't be able to build up a mass over here. Every single unit he builds gets instantly picked off. Now there are Chariots inside his eco, and DauT just caused the game. What a spectacle once again from Saymyname here. Mirror matchup, small differences make the mile, and Saymyname has played a near-perfect game here.
Yeah, it really looks like Saymyname got the iron click, and I think DauT may have panicked a bit, thinking he had to respond now. But in all honesty, these Iron Age techs, they take a while to come in, Lida. They take some time to really manifest. Some of them take 2 minutes. A lot of times you only have one government center, and there's like 3 or 4 techs you need to do there. So you'll see really experienced players or really rich players, like if you have a lot of economy, build like 3 or 4 markets, 3 or 4 government centers just to get everything all at once to really make use of that timing attack. And here you could just see Saymyname kind of took his time with everything. He was under pressure from DauT for sure, but he just knew he was taking way better trades long term, and DauT was all in there. He stopped Vil production. He had like 5 chariots queued up at each range. Like, definitely something slipped up there in terms of like, okay, what are the steps I need to do to transition from this Chariot Archer mass to an Iron Age 4?
All right, jumping into the game over here, we will have Saymyname starting his base build-up on kind of that northeastern side of this landmass. DauT will be situated to the far north. Docks coming up on the far left for Saymyname, and for DauT, we'll have to see once we take a look at his perspective. Looks like he's got a villager all the way down south, so that's where his dock is going to be. Far away starting town centers, far away docks. What does that mean for the game, Winston?
So what that means is that fish booms are going to be pretty comfortable. The TCs are pretty close, to be honest, though, right? Like, that's like a screen and a half away, right? So we could definitely see aggression come in with some sort of like potentially another crush. We saw a crush yesterday. I think it's more likely we're going to see rushing into Tool and then just trying to find the opponent. I don't think they're going to spot each other right away, potentially, which could make it feel like you need to play into scouts or maybe a more defensive opening, because if you don't see your opponent, it's likely they see you. So yeah, not exactly sure what to expect from these players. I mean, both have a very solid, smooth build order. Definitely seems like these 2 civs are the ones able to execute this, so probably the strongest civs on this map right now in my estimation. But looking good overall, a little housing action.
So far, so good. Now, let's take a look at that southern part of the map, because there's a blue villager here. Oh, I think we flipped colors for whatever reason. Not sure what happened there from the observer's perspective, but now we have DauT in blue and Saymyname in red. I'm fairly certain that's not how we started.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, indeed. One of the things that's coming up on chat, and I think this is something good to touch on here in Stone Age, is that now you can drop off shorefish at the docks. That's a mechanic that was in AoE 2 for quite a while, now is brought into the AoE 1 meta with this DLC as well. But you can only do that with shorefish. So I guess one of the questions that comes up associated with this is, how big of an impact does that have on your early game?
I think for a map like Nomad, I think for this map, it's incredible. I think on all the water maps where you want to dock and there's shorefish you want to grab the shorefish of, it's going to be very impactful. I think we've seen a long time a meta around just building storage pits where there's shorefish and a woodline, right? That's always been like the juicy part, right? What you want. But I think what this opens up is a dock is cheaper than a storage pit. And if it can do the same thing, you don't necessarily need it to provide a wood line in order to get the shorefish from it. So I think players are going to, I think with time, I think the meta will adapt to the point where players build kind of like docks wherever the shorefish resources are, right? And that's going to be instead of storage pits on a lot of maps, which gives you more flexibility. You could maybe build a scout ship to defend it. You could add some fishing boats to get even more economy, right? So I think there's a lot of opportunity with docks that storage pits don't really provide. So I'm interested to see, for example, in 4v4 Continental, right? Storage pits on the coast, like you literally by the end of the game, there's just like a ring of storage pits around the edge of the coast. Now that could just be a ring of docks, right? Just to get the same effect, right, where you gather the shorefish. So excited to see how this plays out in like the meta once the game releases and everyone gets their hands on it. But for now, with these Nomad games, it seems like it's really important for getting the Stone Age to be smooth. It looks like these players in particular have found a build order that really works. Like, look at the timings. It's close. It's not like our other Nomad games where we had really different age up times. Like, this is like these players have a build order and they're happy with it.
Yeah, now speaking of being happy, Saymyname cannot complain about the fact that he's got a 3 villagers lead going into Tool Age with this, and a slightly faster timing as well. Barracks is already down for him. Whereas on the other side, I don't think that we have a barracks just yet for DauT. We'll have to check on that. Actually, there is a sneaky barracks out here for DauT. As long as we are talking about infantry archers, that could be a great spot because it's kind of hidden, could come in sneaky. But if we go back to what happened in game number 1, Saymyname playing around the scouts, that barracks location could also backfire.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what Saymyname can really drum up here because it feels like his map position is a lot more exposed. And if DauT... But does DauT know where to go, right? I think that's another question is, was that just a blind barracks or is that an intentional barracks? And it looks like with the way that first clubman is going, he knows where to go.
Yeah, he very likely does. In fact, he is heading all the way to the south, looping around. The clubman of Saymyname notably won't be able to do much damage initially because DauT is fully walled with houses. Looks like DauT, he's not going to dive against the lumberjacks, and you see house walls are complete, so these clubmen, they shouldn't be able to accomplish much over here. And there's a scout ship coming up for DauT, so... Uh-oh! There's a hole over there. Axeman now moving in, and this is a disaster for DauT now. Seemed like it was walled. Scout ship definitely out there to help, but this is still a pain for DauT to deal with.
Yeah, that's such a big issue, right? Definitely not something he wanted to have happen. Now he got the wall tech, so now he's going to wall these in, but 3 Axemen is very deadly, so you have to be very careful. Meanwhile, his pressure on Saymyname, not nearly as effective, because Saymyname is already walled.
Yeah, one of the Axemen is heavily damaged in there, has taken a big beating from that scout ship, but a lot of idle time for DauT. Good news on the other side, though, there's a bowman coming from DauT, and this is not something that Saymyname has reacted to just yet. Just now garrisoning some of the villagers, but without something that deals with that bowman, this is a real pain. Nice little micro out there for Saymyname to jump inside. DauT committing villagers to repairing that scout ship, but while he's doing so, villagers are also under attack by the Axeman. Isn't repairing the house just yet, will be broken through. And now the Axemen are inside his base. He's shutting down the eco of Saymyname, but while doing so, his own eco is also taking a huge beating.
God, this is a really tense game right now. Action at both players' town centers. Nobody's really happy with the situation, and Saymyname has a second ship out. It's going to force repairs from DauT, or DauT's going to have to retreat and also potentially give up his woodline. DauT is kind of crumbling here. His attack is falling apart. He doesn't have food to keep making units, really. And meanwhile, his economy just under so much pressure. So much pressure from Saymyname. With the 3rd scout ship now, DauT really doesn't have any options.
DauT is down to just 18 eco as compared to 27, and 10 of his villagers are actually idle. He's got double ranges on the front, but he simply cannot afford to produce units out of them. He's trying to get a fight here on the water, intercepting those scout ships heading to the south, trying to commit more to the Axemen, but unless he can cut into that eco deficit, this is gonna be a real pain. And you can still see on the minimap those red dots inside his base. He's still yet to clean up those Axemen that are harassing his lumberjacks.
Yeah, with his whole economy idle, things feel really tricky now. DauT gonna take an okay-ish fight here against the units of Saymyname, and now he does have a decent little grouping here. 4 bowmen, not to be trifled with. They could mess around with the economy of DauT or Saymyname, but Saymyname has 2 slingers, gonna force back several of them. Not enough Axemen to really defend. Oh, this is tricky for DauT. It would be a miracle if he comes back from this.
He's outnumbered 13-4 when it comes to the army. His villager count isn't looking too healthy either. He's building up a respectable amount of bowmen down here, so he might be able to get a couple of picks, but instead the bowmen just start attacking the house, notifying Saymyname of them. It's gonna finally hit those lumberjacks, but as you said, it would take a miracle for DauT. He needs to find 10 villager kills or so here. He won't be given any with all these slingers being out there. DauT knows that, and he's going to tap out.
Yeah, and just it was he was getting hit in two spots. His pressure, his forward base was getting taken out, and at the same time, Saymyname was hitting his fishing eco with 3 scout ships, which that's just deadly. And Saymyname showing a counter to TaToH strategy. Oh boy, also up 3-0. So the GL boys maybe in a bit of trouble here. When it seems like Saymyname has found the answers to their aggression.
Yeah, very well played here by Saymyname. A lot of small details going wrong for DauT, though. You look back at that hole, the Axeman getting in, then as he was fighting off one of the Axemen inside, he wasn't able to repair the house, new Axeman flooded his base. It started out really well for him. He shut down Saymyname's eco, but after that, those Axemen getting in just ruined everything.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you saw the difference there. I don't know if you noticed, but when Saymyname got to Tool Age, he immediately clicked wall. That was his first tech, and then it was Axeman. When DauT got to Tool Age, he went Axeman, started queuing up some more units, got the armor and attack upgrades. He was very lazy with filling that gap in his wall. He did not rush it, and Saymyname punished that really hard. If DauT had just plugged that gap the second he got to Tool Age, this game could have looked very different, because I do think positionally, his position seemed to have a slight advantage, but I mean, Saymyname.
We're loading into game number 4 here on Mediterranean. Phoenicians will be the civilization choice for Saymyname. On the other side, DauT will be in command of the Minoans. Match point for Saymyname. Winston, what do you think? Is this going to be a sweep, or is DauT going to make a set out of this one?
Well, can I say after I look at the map? This could be a set. If DauT spots the crossing to the right first, that whole rush distance way around the left is going to be too long. But I don't know if DauT knows the meta for stopping, like for blocking off the crossings. You can kind of place your docks as the wall, and then your barracks kind of in between if the crossing's too wide. So we'll see how DauT handles it. My prediction right now, I don't want to make one. I'm scared. Hold me.
I'm here. I'm here for you. You don't have to wait.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Very important.
All right, spawning on the right side is Saymyname with blue, and down south it is going to be DauT with the red. Let's take a look at that crossing, though, because you mentioned this before. It is such a critical element of this game. So what's the approach, I guess, the players have to take when it comes to such a crossing? It's a shallows crossing, which means that technically units passing by could be intercepted by scout ships, but it also means that it makes the distance between the two players very close with this crossing available. How different is a game with such a crossing from, let's say, a Mediterranean generation that has no rivers like that?
The crossing makes a huge difference. The main reason is that you can actually wall a crossing in the Dark Age, and it's by being creative with your buildings. You build 2 docks here, so if you scroll back over to that, Vodka, you can see we have 2, you could place 2 docks on kind of the sides of it, and then a barracks on your half connecting the docks via land, and you'd create what we would call a dock block, right? So if you're able to do that, kind of like look where the artifact is, right? You could build 1 dock south of the artifact, you could build 1 dock north of the artifact, and then you could put your barracks kind of snug against it, right to the right of the artifact, right? So you'd have 3 buildings, and that would create a wall in the Dark Age, or Stone Age, sorry, right? And the reason that's critical is because you can't wall in the Stone Age otherwise. So if you're going to do it, it takes this huge wood investment. But if it means you're safe, it means you can play greedy, play for the water, right? You could just use those docks as like jumping points for scout ships or fishing boats, right? So you definitely have a lot of opportunity. And like you said, controlling the sea also helps you control that crossing later. So once you get kind of to mid Tool Age or even early Bronze Age, that's when a player's going to have a huge decidable like naval advantage. And if you dock blocked or walled there, your wall is going to get destroyed and you'll get attacked. Or if you didn't dock block and didn't wall there, but you have a navy, you could defend it with the navy. So We'll see how the players approach this. Saymyname is very comfortable with the meta on Mediterranean, so I would expect him, if he finds it, to do some strategies like that. We already see vills for him kind of circling the sea here around the sides. They're going to be looking for those opportunities.
So far, so good. A nice and peaceful Stone Age. And it looks like Saymyname is going to take the scenic route all around the pond. We'll have a nice and lovely storage pit. You talked about this one. It's one thing that it's going to be on the forest, but the bigger benefit of this is that you will have it close to the shorefish. And look at the big difference between the two. DauT actually finds this crossing, whereas for Saymyname, by the time he arrives at that villager to do damage, it might be too late.
Yeah, we'll see how quickly DauT recognizes what his strategy is going to be around this crossing. If he walls it early, it could be good. Meanwhile, Saymyname just kind of blind scouting the left here. He might have a really wrong rush, like a blind rush, as we call it, blind paint. It doesn't really work if you're too far away. But not exactly sure. Maybe he goes for scouts here again and tries to catch DauT off guard before the walls come in. And DauT with a deadly barracks. Oh, boy. He saw that elephant moving or something.
And it wasn't scouted. It's so close, yet it is not visible for Saymyname. And oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no, indeed. That's the right way of phrasing this. And DauT's going to immediately see the house, but he's going to show off his villager to Saymyname. Saymyname should send a vill to chase that down if he sees it, but maybe missing that. Maybe he was focused on something else. But that villager was really in his base for a while, and now we're seeing potentially another barracks, maybe an archery range here from DauT. Not exactly sure what we'll see. And a range here from Saymyname, so slow-moving units for him, too. As we see some walls come up for Saymyname. Oh, this is getting spicy, Lidakor.
It is. Walls are coming up for Saymyname, very similar to the previous game. First thing he did in TaToH was click walls. This time around, though, his food eco is going to take a heavy beating from this. Actually manages to sneak out with a couple of villagers to the right side, but DauT, he's more than happy just idling 5 villagers inside that town center. And is that a tower that's coming up? I'm curious. It wouldn't be unprecedented from DauT to just drop a tower there. And if he finishes that, it's crazy. No, it's just a house.
That's a house. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. A 1 tower rush is kind of risky, especially because you need your stone to defend. You only have 150 stone, so if you spent that stone on a unit, or on a tower, you'd be losing all access to walls. I don't think that's really an option in most games. Oh my gosh, this Axer and the Croc going to town on these villagers. The upgrade's coming for DauT. 4 vills going to be threatened now. 1 already down, and scout ship there as well for DauT. DauT just seems to be in the driver's seat this game.
For sure. I mean, finally the clubmen arrive into his base, but it's a very long journey. And the damage is done on Saymyname. He's fleeing with the villagers once again, down by 7 already. There's a scout ship that's harassing his lumberjacks. The axemen trying to break their way through those walls as well. And you see, because of such a scrappy eco, I guess, for Saymyname, he's going to struggle on the water as well. We'll start losing fishing ships. Everything seems to start falling apart. Repair villagers being pulled to try and save that single scout ship. But DauT is just dominating the numbers on the water. Villagers will be picked off, and you really struggle to see a way back into this game for Saymyname at this point.
Now look at his villager count, Lidakor. It's 15 to 27. And if he doesn't get into this economy now for DauT, DauT's going to start fish booming, and it's going to get scary because there's simply no pressure on the water, and Saymyname calls it. And so we do have a series on our hands, Lidakor. Is the reverse sweep happening? There's no way, right? Come on, that would be a story way too rich, right?
I mean, you can never count DauT out. He definitely managed to get his foot on the door. It's still a long way back right now for him. He's going to have to win 3 consecutive games, all of them on the home map of the opponent. But definitely the first step has been taken. He was the one to find that short path to the opponent's base. Whereas for Saymyname, he had to settle with some rather distant barracks, to say the least. Very well executed. And one of the things that we can see for DauT is that it's not like he is playing bad today. It's just the fact that things didn't really work out the way he imagined them they would. Go back to, let's say, the Arena game, or the Citadel game, rather. It was a game where he did the right things. It's just the fact that Saymyname did it slightly better. You go back to the Nomad game, small things going wrong, made Saymyname just 1 game away from the Grand Finals.
Let's see it, Lidakor. Hit it, Chewy. All right. Gold Mountain. What a crazy map, right? Lidakor, we got DauT in the red with the Shang pieces. And on the other side, Saymyname with Yamato. This map is so open and exposed. It's really hard to wall in your base here. Both players with very open fronts to their base leading into that central spot. And this generation looks a little bit more harsh than the generations we've seen in the past. This looks very tricky to play.
Interesting layout for sure. The first thing to note being the fact that the players have a lot of forests surrounding their starting bases. So these are very well defendable bases. Probably slightly better for DauT because most of the critical resources can be defended a little easier. Not so much for Saymyname, but neither of the players can really complain about the defendability of their base.
I might disagree with that. These seem kind of hard to play to me, right? You definitely have a safe wood line in the back, but without a forest in the front, you have to wall this entire front side, right? And so how are you going to do that? Are you going to wall with the TC and then your villager production and your farm base is like really messed up? Or are you going to wall in front of your TC? That makes it like immensely more expensive. You just don't have enough stone to stonewall that. So at some parts, you're going to be relying on your production buildings, your houses, right? And well, that might feel very natural to an AoE2 player. That's not something you can rely on going into like the mid game in a tool war, right? You kind of need to have your walls really covered and kind of dense so that your opponent can't just quickly break through it with a surprise force. But like you said, I'm really curious to see how Saymyname is going to approach this map. He's got Yamato. You'd assume Scout Rush before the walls come in. I think that's just going to be the plan. In AoE 1 Classic, we had Scout Rushes that were very fast potentially. We saw 16 Vil all-ins. And in the Shang game, Saymyname did a 20 Vil all-in with the Scouts. So maybe this is a similar approach here where he just wants to get just that critical mass of Vils, get the age up, and then make what he can with his remaining food. What do you think he's going to do here, Lidakor? Do you think we're going to see a similar all-in?
Quite possibly. It worked really well. And the thing to consider here, I guess, is that was probably the single strategy that caught DauT the most off guard. The other games, they were relatively standard gameplay, but that was something that DauT may not have seen that frequently. And whenever you have a strategy like that, it's very difficult to come up with a counter strat on the fly. You're playing these games, suddenly you see a strategy that you haven't really practiced a lot against. How do you come up with a counter plan in almost moments' notice?
Well, you just have to use your knowledge of the game, right? Like, the scouts really do well against bowmen, but maybe if you can scout out what your opponent is doing, right? Try and find their stable or their barracks and see if they're producing from it. Because if they're not producing clubmen from their barracks and chasing away your villager, they're probably doing something else with their food, right? They're probably making a different unit, which is likely going to be scouts with the Civ. So you just have to kind of be prepared for that, I guess. You could always make Axemen to defend, which in AoE 1 Classic, that is just like the worst plan, but it hard counters the scouts, right? The scouts simply can't fight Axemen, so we'll see if maybe DauT tries something along those lines, maybe blind Axemen, but that feels bad, right?
Yeah, looks like villagers are moving through the middle. First one to move out is going to be Saymyname. Last time he did that scout rush strategy in game number 1, he opted to go all the way with 3 villagers. Same is going to be done over here, so we really get the impression that we're going to see scouts again.
Yeah, he's just going to take these berries in the middle. He's probably going to build his barracks, then a house, then a granary, then a stable, or a stable, then a granary, or something along those lines, right? He's just going to take control of a central spot. His rush distance will be closer, and then he'll have something for these villagers to do once he has enough wood for the granary. So it's a really smart play. It's a bit risky, in my opinion, but we'll see. He's got the clubber to scout. We see the instant stable from DauT. So DauT's saying, oh, I'm going to do this as well. And DauT's up early. Stonewall already researched. If he can wall off the front of his base, we could see Saymyname in trouble here because he doesn't look like he's planning to wall anything.
Yeah, double stables coming up here for DauT. I love this. I'm not going to lie. If he's walled back at home, he's got double stables, he could be doing a lot of damage. And this is the thing I was looking at. He's got everything he needs inside his base. He's got a lot of space to work with as well. Saymyname, not so much. So if this gets to that, Saymyname is going to have to move out of his base a little sooner than DauT has to, I feel. And oh no. Oh no, Saymyname falling into the same trap once again. Does not know where his opponent is at exactly. Whereas for DauT, he's just going to open with that scout straight away. And I think he will just bump into his opponent's base right away.
Yeah, and so both players have walled off the front there, which means that their wood line will be safe. So you'll be able to kind of get more wood for more farms. So the buildup of scouts is actually going to be slow. I don't think DauT can really afford two stable scout long term, but it'll give him a little tempo here with that opening. And we'll see now the scouts kind of roaming around. Both players have found each other and seen that they're both walled at this point. The houses are going to be a focus point because houses really don't have a lot of health. So if you have a mass that your opponent can't deal with, it's going to be quite good to have all of your scouts focus one down really quickly. So DauT does have a weakness there, but I'm not exactly sure. What are you thinking, Lidakor?
Well, Saymyname is also fully walled. DauT has got a safe base for the time being. This could be good value for DauT, though, and this is big. And I love this. Take a look at the villager count, Winston, before a single villager was killed. That's the crazy idea here for DauT. Looking back at game number 1, he saw that this strategy was next to an all-in for Saymyname. Saymyname stops producing villagers at 20 or 21, goes for the scouts. But this time around, he fails to find damage, and out of nowhere, DauT has a 9 villagers lead.
Yeah, that's a huge vill advantage, although Saymyname going to start producing now his villager count, so I guess both players kind of recognizing what's going on. Saymyname even getting Axeman, so this one Axeman going to be good here. You're going to need some sort of range unit to defend these walls, or the scouts are going to have to fight into 4 scouts and an Axeman, which I think I would favor Saymyname for this engagement.
Too, but I feel like DauT is getting confident doing this because he knows that he has to have the equal advantage. Managed to kill 3 villagers, plus of course Saymyname had that all-in style strategy, and look at what DauT is doing. He's bringing over a Clubman as well, just tries to damage that X-Men as much as possible. Might even use that unit as a bait, tries to focus down the X-Men. Takes a decent engagement over here with the second Clubman on the way. Axeman, though, doing work, and DauT will be forced back for the time being. As you said, that Axeman is a game changer in there. Finally gets picked off, but damage has been down to DauT scouts. It's going to be lower when it comes to the overall HP, but obviously closer reinforcements will swing this in his favor eventually. He needs that Axeman upgrade, though. As long as he only has Clubman, he's not going to be able to win these fights.
Yeah, they're not. It's just simply not strong enough. You can see the Axeman with that little bit of bonus damage against the scouts, and it's so much cheaper too. So it's an extremely cost-efficient trade to just throw Axeman into scouts. And if you can force the fight like Saymyname just did, you can really see, like, there was some chatter in the chat that I was seeing that where people were saying where scouts were OP, and I think Saymyname's kind of showing that, like, you kind of need a mix here, potentially, in order to have the best army. Not exactly sure, though, right? Very early days in the meta, but Saymyname making use of these new bonuses quite effectively.
He's still bashing his way through those holes. DauT has managed to complete the farm transition notably behind this, so... Oh, he's got to be careful, though. That house is getting very close to being destroyed. 2 villagers on the repairs, but that's way too many Axemen bashing it down. And the Axemen are now in. DauT making the switch to the Bowman, but it's coming a little too late. Scouts now will roam his base, and this could be a disaster. He's up by 17 villagers right now. Soon, that advantage could disappear.
Now that reliance on that house wall, just maybe not completely comfortable with the meta. We talked about that at the start, right? Like, these bases are easy to wall, but it's also easy to attack a wall if you're not full stonewalled. We saw Saymyname put a big emphasis on having a full layer of walls around, and now DauT just going to be under so much pressure here. This is game point for him. If he isn't able to capture this win, Saymyname will advance to the finals, Lidakor. How can he hold this? There's just so many units in his base. His scouts were going for the counterattack. He doesn't have an answer to these Axemen because the scouts keep killing the Bowman. Oh my gosh, DauT is simply falling apart here.
Villager count just disappearing for him. DauT decides to tap out. And with that, Saymyname is advancing into the grand finals. looked so good for DauT for quite a while, but the moment that house went down, Axemen, scouts just flooding in, and DauT had nothing back at home to stop them with. Saymyname, dominant 4-1 set. He's going to be awaiting either TaToH or Cool.